a New Jersey nurse filing a lawsuit after she was suspended from her job after calling out a doctor who allegedly said Charlie Kirk deserved to die.
Yeah, you heard that correctly. A nurse in New Jersey has been suspended for defending Charlie Kirk. Not making fun of him, defending him.
I look down, I see his badge, and it says doctor. And I said, "You're a doctor?"
That's right. It was a doctor who made that statement, and the nurse was questioning, how could you make that statement? And she has been suspended. So we're going to dig into this story because I'm sure you're hearing about all of these people being fired for making fun of Charlie Kirk, but now someone might get fired for defending Charlie Kirk. So we're going to dig into it. Now, real quick, before we start the video, make sure you please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, but it also helps others see the videos as well, and I think people want to see what's going on with this story.
Along with her attorney, a New Jersey nurse filing a lawsuit after she was suspended from her job after calling out a doctor who allegedly said Charlie Kirk deserved to die. The hospital saying, quote, both the doctor and the nurse were placed on suspension to allow time for a thorough and fair investigation following our standard protocol. And in the interest of everyone's safety, including their own, contrary to certain media reports, the nurse was not fired. That nurse, Lexi.
Now, just to give you some context, because I don't know why the hospital left this out, and this is why the nurse had to come out publicly. Yeah, she has been suspended, and that probably is the proper protocol, but she's not getting paid, which is why she's coming on national television, not to get any sort of fame. She wants her job back because she's not getting paid. The hospital left that part out.
Kuenzle, along with her attorney, John Paul Deal, joins us now. Lexi, thanks so much. I'll get you in a second, John. But Lexi, are you fired?
No, I'm not fired as of right now. Right now, I am suspended, indefinitely unpaid.
Why?
So I walked into the nurse's station, and I just had learned about Charlie Kirk. I saw this guy. I didn't know who he was at the time, and he was standing there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, saying how he deserved it, he hated Charlie Kirk, and he had it coming to him.
Okay, now for those of you who don't understand why this is also a very big deal, for anyone who's ever worked in the medical field, and believe it or not, I was not always a YouTuber. I used to be a certified nursing assistant back in the day. The nursing station, that's where everyone sort of collaborates, that's where everyone talks, whether about work, whether about your personal life, that's where you do your charting and filing. So this is a very intimate setting. So imagine being in her shoes. You're so upset that Charlie Kirk has just lost his life, and then a doctor shows up. She didn't know he was a doctor, didn't even know who he was, and is laughing about it at your home station. That's why this story is gaining so much traction. And of course, the guy is a doctor.
And
so you love Charlie Kirk. You didn't just want to wear of him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Charlie Kirk. My first retweet in 2018 it was like my first blue checkmark retweet was Charlie Kirk. I was a couple years out of college and loved him ever since.
You're aghast at this, and what'd you say?
So I looked down at his badge because I didn't know, what job, if he was a doctor or a nurse, a
never
tech, never saw him before. I looked down, I see his badge, and it says doctor. And I said, "You're a doctor?" I said, how are you saying this as a doctor, that someone deserved to die?
And here's the thing, we are also seeing a bunch of people who did not like Charlie Kirk, could care less about his politics, but this is not only a Republican conservative issue. It just turns out that this nurse really liked Charlie Kirk, and that's cool. But we are also seeing across the board people being disgusted to make fun of the Charlie Kirk situation who are left-leaning, and I'm sure you guys are seeing that as well. So I just wanted to point out that it's not only people who love Charlie Kirk who are willing to call out others. There are even some left-leaning personnel who are not fans of what's going on here. And leave your comments down below how you feel about a doctor making fun of this situation. We are seeing more of an outrage of people like doctors, airline pilots, heads of colleges like a dean. I talked about that yesterday. There is a lot more outrage against people who are in these positions to work with the children, work to save lives. Many people are questioning, if you're in those positions, why are you laughing at a man who just lost his life or even works with kids?
I mean, to me, I was just mind blown. And Yeah. That's
And
what I
everything
said.
went silent. You go to your manager. Your manager was understanding, but told you to go home.
Yeah.
Then you posted something online, and then you find out you're suspended. I want to bring in your lawyer now. And John, could you tell me how we when we find out her true status, and how do we make sure she gets her job back?
Yeah, so look, there are laws under various states, including New Jersey, where people like Lexi, nurses, healthcare professionals, can push back against conduct that implicates patient safety and welfare. And so
Almost like a whistleblower law, pretty much every level of work, whether in the government or private sector, there are these protections that will protect you if you are calling out something that is legitimate and to save other lives or for the well-being of others. Now, I just want to say this. If this nurse wanted to right now and she got into politics, you guys know she would be a millionaire overnight. She would be one of the most popular people in politics today. But one thing I really respect about people like this nurse, she's not even looking for that. She just wants to be a nurse again, which is why I'm even making this video. I'm gonna be honest with you, I would question it a little bit if she was really trying to use this for clout, to start her own platform, to get into politics, to become a big name. She's not doing that, and I respect her so much for that, and I think this adds a lot of value to this story.
Lexi's filed a lawsuit, and I'll be happy to be representing her in that lawsuit, essentially saying, look, this doctor took a Hippocratic oath, he's under ethical standards, to do no harm, and instead what he said is, I hate Charlie Kirk, he had it coming, and he deserved it.
And by the way, if you said that about a resident or a patient, you would be fired in 2 seconds. When I worked in the nursing home, I worked in a veterans home / state home. So the standards were insane. If you said the word diaper instead of a pull-up, you were fired. So it's almost as if in 2025, we have just lost standards and value in what we say. In any job ever, if you said what this doctor said, you would be fired. But that's not the point. You have somebody calling out the doctor who might get fired and has been suspended, and now she's almost going through this public embarrassment to have to go on the national media and talk about this, which I'm getting indicators she doesn't want that because she wants her job back. She wants to be a nurse. I'm not seeing anything weird where she's trying to become like a new YouTuber or something into politics. I'm not seeing that at all with this nurse. It all looks extremely genuine.
Now that calls into question patient care and patient safety. If somebody else, let's say Charlie Kirk himself, let's say somebody with his views, somebody who was a supporter came in to that surgeon's emergency room or operating room, would that doctor say, well, I'm not going to treat him, he deserved it? Right.
That's the implication.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to keep cutting this off, but the thing about Charlie Kirk is when you look at his politics and you really evaluate what he has to say, he's actually a lot more moderate that's being portrayed with Charlie. And I just want to be super honest here about that. So the other reason why many people are almost getting outraged or feel uncomfortable is that if I'm a moderate and I don't even sway too far right in certain issues, and Charlie didn't either, I feel a little uncomfortable. And this is why we're seeing it across the board in the United States. But again, this is a very unique story. This is a person defending Charlie Kirk, not making fun of Charlie Kirk.
So you posted online on Instagram, this doctor is a disgrace. He had the audacity to say, I'm glad he deserved it, in front of a patient nursing station in regards to Charlie Kirk being murdered today. You are on the wrong side with the world.
And she, like in any other hospital, let's just say this wasn't the Charlie Kirk situation. If you were a nurse and you started to publicly call out other faculty members, you could be fired for that as well. Now, when I was a nursing assistant, this really wasn't a thing, like going on you didn't have to be afraid what you posted on the internet. But in 2025, your digital footprint has officially become a part of you. You guys all know that. I know you're all smart enough to know that. But it's almost as if when I make these videos, I really have to remind people, be careful what you post. I don't even care if you dislike Charlie, but you could be fired as well. Everybody could be fired what you post on the internet, especially in the private sector.
And you want to make sure, number one, do you want your job back?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting to hear from them. I'm ready to come back to work if they want me to come back to work.
And if they let you go, you're suing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That would be the craziest thing ever from the hospital to do that. So I personally don't know what they're going to do. But again, I so respect this nurse for saying, I want to go back to work. I want to be a nurse. I'm just being extremely transparent here. I would question it a little bit because we see it with a lot of different things where people will use like a situation like this to get into the spotlight, become super popular, and then you don't hear from them ever again. But in this case, absolutely genuine from what I'm seeing, and I really, really respect that.
Loud following the assassination of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, a man accused of vandalizing a memorial in Phoenix has been arrested. This happened at the headquarters of Kirk's nonprofit Turning Point USA. You can see in the video there the reaction.
Okay, so just to show you guys, it's not only happening on social media, it's not happening behind closed doors as far as like Charlie Kirk hate, it's also happening in public, really in public, at a Charlie Kirk memorial.
It was held in place by Kirk supporters until police arrived. Fox 10's Irene Snyder joining us with more details. Good morning, Irene.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, and that vigil out here just continues to grow at the memorial today. We spoke to many mourners that were out here yesterday during the chaos. But first, just take a look and see how it really has grown over the last less than a week with so many people coming out here to.
And this is in front of the headquarters, by the way. And the kid who did that, he was wearing the same shirt as the person who took out Charlie Kirk, just so you guys are aware to give you the full story here.
Balloons, flowers, and candles in honor of Charlie Kirk. Now, we did speak with one man yesterday who was there during all of the chaos, too. He says he helped police get the vandal in custody because that vandal was trying to destroy some of that memorial out here. Taking a look at that video.
And if a Republican or anyone, I don't care, if you did that to a Democrat or you did that in the middle of their memorial service, I would have no problem in calling you out as well. Again, this is not so much in these circumstances like a left versus right issue. This is just an issue of like, what are you doing? And I have seen a lot of more left-leaning political accounts say, yeah, you can't be doing that. So I do want to make that clear. In this case, a lot of people did denounce this, by the way.
Happening yesterday morning at the headquarters for Turning Point USA. You can see police say this is 19-year-old rider.
That shirt right there is why a lot of people were like, wow, you took the time to find the shirt and you made it very intentional.
Coral being thrown to the ground by Charlie Kirk supporters. Witnesses say Coral vandalized several items at the memorial. He was held in place by those supporters until police officers arrived. And the wardrobe Coral chose, also causing concern among people out here. He was seen wearing a similar shirt that was worn by the shooting suspect on the day of Kirk's assassination.
Wore the same shirt as the shooter did, and he was walking down. He had some type of like body cam device.
And look, if you're at that memorial, that is a safety concern. You have somebody stomping and kicking and shoving things around, wearing the same shirt, wearing body cam. At this point, within the political context, which is why the police arrested him, you also have to fear for your life. This is a dangerous situation.
And he had a phone. I think he was recording himself because he was talking to himself. So I'm assuming he was recording himself. And he was saying a lot of hateful things towards Charlie, and that I don't want to reiterate. But so me and the officer were staring at him, and I was like, this guy's gonna do something.
And notice, the Charlie Kirk supporters and the police officers, they were okay with him doing that. Obviously upset, like, why are you yelling at a man who passed away and his family just lost their father? They were okay with that. And to be honest with you, Charlie would probably be way okay with that as well. Freedom of speech, that's okay. But when you start vandalizing and stomping on stuff, that's when it became a problem, just to tell you guys that.
Other witnesses say the incident strayed from the peace they felt at the memorial scene over the last week, and it does not stop Kirk's message from spreading. In the meantime, police tell us that Coral is now facing charges of criminal damage as well as disorderly conduct. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, and again, I do think that's a very crucial point, that nobody at that vigil They were upset about it, but they didn't punch him. They didn't attack him. They defended themselves. And I think contextually speaking, that goes to show what Charlie would have wanted. Do not attack the man. You can be upset at what he says, but you are allowed to defend yourself, especially if you're smashing and destroying private property. And that's what happened here. But again, the point of all of this is to show you guys it's not only happening on social media. We're seeing circumstances in real life of counter protesters going face to face with Charlie Kirk supporters and either sometimes getting physical, sometimes destroying stuff, but it's happening also in the public. Now, the last thing I want to say is this. Again, I don't think Charlie Kirk wants us talking about Charlie Kirk, but it all ties in together. Charlie, when he talks about the gospel, for those of you who don't know, and there's a lot of people who want to be Christians now, it's called 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4. This right here is so crucial for your walk with Christ, and every time I make a Charlie video, I'm going to honor what Charlie would have wanted. Now I would remind you, brothers, of the gospel I preached to you, which you received, in which you stand, and by which you are being saved, if you hold fast to the word I preached to you, unless you believed in vain, for I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received, that Christ died for our sins in accordance with the scriptures, that he was buried and was raised on the third day in accordance with the scriptures. So for all of the people who are now just starting to go to church or go back to church, this right here is probably going to be one of your foundations for your walk with Christ. So screenshot that, look into it. And again, I know that this is about Charlie Kirk, but I don't think Charlie wants us talking about Charlie. Everything that Charlie represented and everything that he stood for had to do with Christ. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we really want peace. One of my biggest things I advocate is no violence, peace. Even if you are left-leaning, don't like Charlie, that is okay. We do want to come together. We want to be peaceful, cordial, and we want to have discussions. Thank you guys so much for being here. God bless, and we'll see you all later.